Good morning, everyone. Now I will present about the background of the Maybank, which is Maybank was founded on 31st May 1960 and began operation in Kuala Lumpur on September 12, 1960. And Maybank is the first entire bank-owned finance company. Malaysian Finance Corporation is established. And Maybank has been chosen as our commercial bank for our study is because it has demonstrated it dedicated to innovation and excellence by ranking among the top 5 in Southeast Asia. And Maybank also provides many products and services such as commercial banking, Islamic banking, investment banking, leasing, and hire purchase. Next, we look at the customer satisfaction Maybank. In Malaysia banking industry, Customer Satisfaction Survey (CCS), the customer satisfaction of Maybank is increased due to the staff behavior, which is polite and patient to the customer and willing to help. And this is about the Maybank background.
I'm Wong Yihui and my metric number is 278502. Now I'm going to continue with background of CIMB Bank. In 1974, CIMB Group Holdings Berhad was established in Malaysia based in Kuala Lumpur. We choose CIMB Bank for our study because it is categorized as a top bank in ASEAN. There are 5 segments in CIMB Group, which are consumer banking, investment banking, wholesale banking, commercial banking, and asset management services. The vision of CIMB is to be the leading ASEAN company, and the mission of CIMB is to provide universal banking services as a high-performing, institutionalized, and integrated company located in ASEAN and key markets beyond, and to champion the acceleration of ASEAN integration and the region's link to the rest of the world. In 2021, the substantial holders of CIMB include Khazanah Nasional Berhad, EPF, and KWAP. They are holding 25.6%, 15.2%, and 6.4% of shares respectively.
Next, I would like to present about the objectives of this assignment. So the 3 types of commercial banks in Malaysia that we decided to analyze and compare in this assignment are Public Bank, Maybank, and CIMB Bank. The figures and data were obtained from 2016 to 2020. The objectives of the assignment are as under. First is to analyze and compare the financial performance among the banks based on their key profitability ratios. Second is to determine the changes of banks' ownership structure during the study period. Third is to examine the profitability of the banks. And lastly is to examine how correlation of different ratios affects the net interest income of banks.
Good morning, doctor. My name is Kway Ke Sing and my metric number is 277058. Today, I would like to present the ownership structure of Maybank. Maybank is one of Malaysia government-linked company. It refers to a company where the Malaysia government hold a direct control stake and has a primary commercial objective. Next, the largest shareholder is Amanah Rakyat Trustee Berhad. It held more than 30% of issued share. The second and third shareholder are Citigroup nominee Tempatan Sdn Berhad and Permodalan Nasional Berhad.
Good day, everyone. I am Lim Sim Ru. I will continue talk about ownership structure of CIMB Group Holding Berhad. CIMB is also one of the Malaysian government-linked companies. The slide shows the top 3 largest shareholders of CIMB Group Holding Berhad from 2016 to 2020. The largest shareholder from 2016 to 2020 was Khazanah Nasional Berhad, and it held more than 20% of issuer share. Next, the second largest shareholder was Citigroup nominees Tempatan Sdn Berhad, and it held more than 10% of issuer share. Third largest shareholder of CIMB Group Holding Berhad in 2016 was Amanah Rakyat Trustee Berhad, but in 2017 until 2020, it was Kumpulan Wang Persaraan diperbankankan, while Amanah Rakyat Trustee Berhad fell to the 4th largest shareholders.
Good morning, doctor and my friends. My name is Tan Kai and my metric number is 27941. The first analysis ratio is return on asset, or ROA. As you can see in the figure, the ROA of CIMB Bank is the highest ratio among the 3 commercial banks, from 4.34% in 2016 until 3.6% in 2020, due to its lowest amount of total assets, the ratio of net interest to the total assets becomes higher. As a result, the CMB Bank is more efficient in managing its assets such as loan and reserve to generate its profit than Public Bank and Maybank. The higher ROA also show the CMB Bank enable earning more interest of non-interest income with a smaller investment in its business. The second analysis ratio is net interest margin. In this figure, the net interest margin of CMB Bank shows negative ratio and is the lowest value compared to Public Bank and Maybank. However, CMB Bank's net interest margin rose from negative 0.93% in 2016 to negative 0.46% in 2020. The net interest margin will become negative ratio because CMB Bank's interest expense is higher than interest income. From 2016 until 2020, Public Bank net interest margin is the highest, but it started to drop from 1.94% in 2017 to 1.69% in 2020. The decreasing ratio in net interest margin is due to the demand for savings account being higher than the loan, so the Public Bank is paying out more interest than its reserve. As a result, a positive net interest margin in Public Bank and Maybank indicated profitable operations, while a negative figure in CIB banks indicated inefficient investment. That's all from me. I will pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
Referring to the figure, the net non-interest margin of the CIMB is the higher ratio, which is 5.94, 5.67, 7.79, 7.73, and 4.16, while Public Bank is the lower ratio among these three banks, which is 0.22%, 0.23, 0.22, 0.20, and 0.22 from 2016 until 2020. The ratio of the Maybank is 0.31, 0.28, 0.34, 0.29, and 0.22. That means that the revenue of the CIMB Bank earned from business other than its core activity is more than Public Bank and Maybank. The net operating margin of the CIMB Bank is the higher ratio from 2016 until 2020, which is 4.83%, 4.65, 6.57, 6.77, and 3.59. The higher ratio means that CIMB is better than Public Bank and Maybank because it indicates their operations are more efficient at converting the sale into profit and able to generate the higher revenue after paying the expense of the operation. The ratio of the Maybank is 1.99, 1.67, 2.08, 2.21, 2.03, while the ratio of the Public Bank is 1.68, 2.03, 1.73, 1.75, and 1.67 respectively.
The EPS of Maybank is the highest ratio among the three commercial banks at 2016 at 4.591, but it dropped significantly to 0.587 in 2017 and achieved the lowest in 2020 at 0.531. Due to the up and down of net income every year, the EPS become unstable. As a result, as compared to Public Bank and CIMB Bank, Maybank issued new shares, which had a negative impact on EPS in 2017. Maybank's greater EPS in 2016 also reveals how much money it makes for each share of its stocks, which is a frequently used statistic for determining company worth. Investors will pay more for Maybank shares if they believe Maybank's profits are higher than its share price. So, a higher EPS suggests more value. From 2016 to 2020, Public Bank's EPS ratio is 1.042, 1.311, 1.172, 1.222, and 1.063 respectively, higher than CIMB Bank at 0.153, 0.166, 0.259, 0.281, and 0.156 respectively. The earnings spread of CIMB Bank is negative and it is the lowest value compared to Public Bank and Maybank. CIMB Bank's earnings spread rose from negative 0.041 in 2016 to negative 0.035 in 2018 and dipped a little bit to negative 0.036 in 2019, lastly increased to negative 0.031 in 2020. The negative earnings spread is the difference between CIMB Bank interest rate and the fundamental interest rate that was agreed upon. When interest rates on loans are lower than those on deposit, a negative earnings spread develops, preventing CIMB Bank from meeting its operational costs From 2016 until 2020, public bank's earnings spreads is nearly the same with the earnings spreads for Maybank. The earnings spread for public bank dropped from 0.016 in 2016 to 0.014 in 2020, while Maybank's earnings spread increased from 0.014 in 2016 to 0.016 in 2018 and decreased to 0.014 in 2020. Public Bank has the highest ratio of ROE among Maybank and CIMB Bank from 2016, 13.52% to 2019, 10.59%. Therefore, Public Bank is more efficient in using investor funds to increase the bank's value than Maybank and CIMB Bank. However, the ROE ratio of Public Bank dropped from 15.50% in 2017 to 10.59% in 2020. It became a sign for public bank that it is making poor reinvestment decisions or not generating enough income. Besides, the ratio showed that CIMB Bank has a poor performance than public bank and Maybank, although the ratio of the CIMB Bank is increasing in 2018 and 2019, but still lower than another bank. The ratio of CIMB Bank from 2016 to 2020 is 6.22%, 6.66%, 9.88%, 10.29%, and 5.65%. The increase in 2018 and 2019 may show that the profit margin of the bank is growing without the need for more capital and the management is handling well to invest the capital of the shareholders. While the ratio of the Maybank is 10.16%, 9.84%, 11.14%, 10.39%, and 8.25% respectively.
Overall, from the analysis part, CIMB performed well in their ratios among three banks, such as their return on assets, net non-interest income, and net operating margin. Their group enabled earning more interest or non-interest income with a smaller investment in their business. CIMB total assets increased due to their growth in the financial investment portfolio. Hence, the booster of the net interest margin in public bank due to the positive impact of increases in the overnight policy rate. CIMB Bank's interest expense is higher than their interest income, as they still dealing with the effect of the interest rate decreases and the multiplication losses due to the COVID-19 related loan. Lastly, CIMB operational income is supported by the greater treasury markets and the wealth management revenue. That's all for me. Thank you.
Based on the finding, it shows the 7 key ratios for public bank, Maybank, and CIMB Bank. For CIMB Bank, it has well financial performance on return on asset or ROA, net non-interest margin, and net operating margin amongst the commercial banks. For public bank, it performed well on net interest margin, earning per share of stock or EPS, and return on equity or ROE amongst the banks. Surprisingly, Maybank and public bank have similar trends on earnings spread and get the same key ratio at 0.014 in 2020. This study will help to get to know the financial performance on positions, liquidity, profitability, risk, solvency, efficiency, operational effectiveness, and correct usage of the money of each commercial banks such as public banks, Maybank, and CIMB Bank. The financial performance may be useful for every stakeholder, especially shareholders, regulators, authorities, investors, and financial institutions for any decision making. Based on these previous drawbacks, the deeper analysis should include an interview with other stakeholders such as top management, bank executives, government bodies, and SME enterprise or small and medium enterprise in order to assess the accurate findings data. That's all from us. Hope you enjoyed our presentation. Thank you.